Raising Arizona, 1987. Welcome back to Filmography Fridays. I'm the JJ. Not the bees! We didn't really fuck up. We had to do this on purpose. It is kind of an error. Blood Simple is their first movie, but that's not on PSN, which is what we do a lot of this on. So I have to go out of my way to go get Blood Simple in some way, shape, or form. So for now, we're starting with Raising Arizona. It's their first true Coen brothers movie, if you get what I'm saying on that. We open on Nic Cage being arrested and processed. Once again, didn't know this was a documentary. Nic Cage introduced himself as H.I. Hi. Which I actually kind of like that. My name is Hi. Was it Hi McDonough? That was his name? Yeah. Cage tries to go straight.
I always thought it was Hyde, because I keep hearing Hyde throughout the movie, and I'm thinking Hyde.
No, because it's H.I., but he's like, yeah, call me Hi. But yeah, no. Cage tries to go straight, but it's hard because of who's in office. This is a great scene of him just showing, not even him, but them showing the idea of a criminal is going to use every excuse to continue with what they're doing, and they will never take the blame, almost always never take the blame themselves.
It's always someone else's fault.
They also show he's irregular by the way that he talks to the one who's taking the photos, who's processing him.
Yeah.
I really like that. She's actually played by Holly Hunter.
I think it's got an adorable relationship right in the beginning.
Yeah, right off the bat, you're like, oh, I like this. I like the way...
This wouldn't happen, but this is cute.
The way that he warms up to her. But that's the thing, it wouldn't happen, but it feels like it would, the way this movie does it, because he consistently gets out, comes back in, gets let out and paroled, comes back in, and each time he gets slowly and slowly more accustomed to her as a person. They show that he's consistently getting, in a very clever and fun scene, they show the guy who's mopping is the same, he doesn't get let out, but Nic Cage just keeps getting out and getting out and getting out. Yeah, and every time he comes back in, I really like the idea of just grrr, the first time, grrr, the second, and then just by the third it's just, and then by the third it's literally just, because he's used to him. It shows how often he's in and out. It's a really well done, clever scene. And also, the other side of that is, once again, him getting to know Ed more and more every time, and Ed kind of growing on him more and more.
As he flirts with her.
I feel so bad for her.
I think he made a bad choice.
Oh, yeah, when he's going in, and the whole, oh, God, yeah. Oh, my fiance. She said her fiance. I just love the dialogue in Coen Brothers movies. Perfect example of that. We ate sand. You ate sand?
You ate sand?
Pure gold reaction.
Oh, the same character who's like, so why do you feel like you're a woman trapped in a man's body?
Why do you say you feel trapped in a man's body?
Well, sometimes I get the menstrual cramps real hard.
Seeing that face with that voice say that is just hilarious.
Really early in this movie, Cage forms a relationship with Ed, the one who's booking him, played by Holly Hunter, and he gets a job and goes straight for the time being, and it's right off the bat. I like this. They basically reveal they can't have kids. That's really the big negative
before
here.
Before that, I want to go in more detail why we like how he goes straight, basically. He has happiness. And you'll find that psychologically, people who have found that thing in life that they enjoy or like,
who they are, basically.
They, like, especially when it comes to relationships, they are fine sticking with mediocre jobs and whatnot. They have what they want. So it just shows, you know, hey, he's not being a fucking delinquent maniac now.
It's actually better for him, yeah.
Yeah, it's better for him and his mental health that he has this. And Q, they find out they can't have kids.
And it's basically the start of the down spiral, yeah.
It's the start of their little down spiral, specifically that... you see this when he starts saying he found himself passing by convenience stores that weren't on the way home.
Yeah, and we both audibly, this is how decent this movie gets this shit across, we both audibly went, oh no! And when you take how bad of a thing that is, and you factor in that it's a Coen Brothers movie, and they manage to get, like, comedy in with that fucked up, like, the whole montage of her being barren, there's still comedy there. You'd think that was handled for such a serious scene, and then there's moments where you're like, wow, wait, why am I laughing? This is horrible.
So Hi seems very apathetic throughout the movie because most of his feelings are in his inner thoughts, his narration.
Right. Well, I also feel like he is kind of blank a little bit because
Yeah,
he's supposed to be slightly dumb.
He doesn't really know how to react to things because he's never really connected to some issues from what I feel.
So their idea to fix the whole Baron thing is they hear about the Arizona estate and this really rich family who basically wouldn't be able to take care of like 5 or 6 babies. I think it was 5, and so their idea is, hey, they don't need all of them. Let me go steal a cup of sugar. Let me go steal a cup of this. It doesn't work the same way with babies.
I think is even sadder here, though, is what something like being told you can't have kids can do to someone, especially a woman who wants to have kids. She's the one who came up with the plan.
This twice decorated officer abandons all of her previous, basically, ideals and encouragements.
She wants to have something she can't.
She's doing all this to raise this baby with a horrible criminal. So not only is she not thinking of that aspect, but she's also, which I guess in her mind, he isn't a criminal.
No, but
she's justifying it.
But it's not just that. He's willing to help because they both think this will help them better their lives, and it'll make everything better.
And to a degree, it does for him, to a degree.
Yeah, but while she keeps telling herself that it's good, he
more and
more falls back because he's not ready for it.
No neighbor or passerby saw Cage steal the baby. That's a negative I want to point out.
They did seem to have a nice house, so they might live in a more secluded area. They did drive from like a Texas wasteland area, so
I guess plausibly, but they even leave the ladder there.
No, yeah.
And he's going up. They go in twice because I couldn't do it. Get your ass back in there and steal me a baby. I goes back in and steals a baby. You had to have been seen by somebody.
Yeah, he was having second thoughts, and I like that.
Oh no, I completely. Yeah. The criminal is not quite sure on it.
And it's just not right.
Yeah, that's the thing is this switches the roles really cleverly and not out of nowhere. It makes perfect sense with the lead-in they give us. The bad photo shot of just okay, honey. Yeah, honey. No. Look, honey. Look. Stop looking at me. Look. Cage looks like he's just on drugs. She looks like she's staring at him, and then just the babe. It's the perfect representation of their relationship. John Goodman breaks out of prison through the ground, screaming and pulling John.
I love this thing.
I also feel
like Rebirth.
I was just gonna say I feel like it's symbolic for them being reborn into criminal behavior in the world, basically. Hey, we're back. There's a YouTube video you should watch where it's him and it's just reversed and it's just him throwing him back into the ground, dipping him into this mud, feeding him to the earth.
William Forsythe to the ground.
I got 2 major problems with this next thing. Goodman goes to Cage's house. One, how does he know where he lives? Weird, we've never established this. Fine. Yard stories, maybe he told them for some stupid fucking reason, fine, so I'll let that one go. 2, why don't Cage and Ed see that they're still in their uniforms? You taking the large tub of Dapper Dan and fucking rubbing it vigorously through your hair does not change enough for me to think, oh, you're free.
She's a fucking officer, she has to have seen these uniforms.
No, yeah.
Just a small complaint.
And this, here's another thing. The way that this switches, this might be the only switch that is a little... It's intended, but it's almost confusing for a split second of Ed is now high and mighty with these... She's technically right, but with these criminals. I don't want these criminals.
You married one.
You married one, you are one. And she's saying all this while holding the stolen baby.
I'm just going to point out, you're worse than your husband's level. You're worse than your husband or even these guys because you stole a baby.
So we cut to one of Nicolas Cage's character's dreams, and that's probably one of my favorite parts of this movie, the crazy fucking dreams that sort of tell the future. He has a dream of the rider of the apocalypse, quote, instead of his normal stuff. Who, by the way, blows up a rabbit with a fucking grenade. He kills all living things.
Yeah,
away.
What the fuck is this?
At this point in time,
first things.
At this point in time, I actually thought this was like a metaphor or symbol for something.
So did I.
Internally with him. Like, I thought maybe this was his chance of being caught and it was ever looming. It was always getting closer and closer. I thought maybe this was his negative side always trying to come back to him.
Yeah.
I thought it was all these things. It makes so much sense. And then, no, they just flat out confirm it later. No, this guy exists. And he's a bounty hunter.
But I think in terms of writing, it still serves as that metaphor.
It could. No, it probably could. But I'm just saying, I thought that's what the entire thing was. And then, no, he's a tangible character that just kills animals.
Yeah, he fucking kills a fucking rabbit, fucking shotguns like a lizard. And it's just like, all while having Mama Didn't Love Me as a tattoo.
The jokes with the dumb husband, when you see Frances McDormand and him come in, the swinger couple.
Yeah.
I really don't like this stuff. It needed to happen for the story. This is more personal. I just thought this was... The dumb husband, I get the idea of it. He was supposed to sound like he's droning on. He was supposed to be not funny.
His name was Glenn.
Right. He was supposed to be not funny. He was supposed to drone on, but it...
I vaguely remember, like, racist and sexist jokes. I don't care that they were racist or sexist. I like a good joke, and it's just everything he said was just not funny.
But once again, it's the point. But yeah, exactly. That just lies the problem. You purposely tried to dull down the scene with him.
That was his boss, wasn't it?
That is his boss, yeah. Which, by the way, that makes the whole line he's about to say to him even creepier. Let's fuck each other's wives. You fucking creep. And then Nicolas Cage, let's be honest here, being a criminal, it makes sense, but he overreacts majorly to that. Beating the shit. You don't touch my wife! You keep your hands off my wife! He never touched or actually said he was going to forcibly do this. He just put something out there, and you are now beating the ever-loving shit out of him. Cage, him beating the shit out of him, once again, just further solidified. This is a documentary. This was him going full Cage. It works like a Hulk superpower. The more Cage he gets, the more you are fucked. Cage goes finally back to his old ways and robs the store for diapers and cash in a heartbreaking scene. But once again, while being heartbreaking and defeating, it's so fucking funny.
What was she yelling, jackass or son of a bitch?
You son of a bitch! Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
But it's kind of funny, because he gets into this large shootout with this kid with braces, who just has a...
Oh yeah, that kid who smiles and fires like a revolver.
I do want to point out that him breaking here was a realistic slow decline. He tried, they really showed him trying. Ed leaves him, you son of a bitch, you son of a bitch. I think we mentioned it already. Which, by the way, I want to point out, could totally, you're hinging a lot of trust on this man, because he could instantly tell the police that you are holding a stolen baby. The police chase through the house is fucking superbly shot, superbly fucking realized. Yeah. You have such a realistic, gritty, fast-paced, avant-garde way of shooting this, where they just run in through one door, you see Nicolas Cage run through, the people just watching TV in the living room, the cop runs through with the gun, and just, it's interrupting a random family's fucking living room time.
Yo, these people are just running through our house, what?
Cage runs into a supermart to pick up the Huggies he dropped, and I want to point this out. This shows that he doesn't he doesn't let shit go. He will not let things go. He will go out of his way to get that thing he wanted, whether or not he, like, is gonna fucking suffer for it. In this case, he almost risks being arrested, or in this case, actually shot to death for those fucking Huggies that he probably could have just gotten from the money that he successfully stole.
Yep.
But no, he goes back and steals the Huggies. I also think this shows exactly why he gets caught frequently. Okay, so everyone in this grocery store gets into a giant shootout. Customers' lives be damned. Because, by the way, they don't tell them to move or anything. They just start shooting from aisle to aisle following him. Well done action, though. Really funny. Everyone...
They started firing at him the minute they saw him, too.
No, yeah. Yeah. The contrast of the intense action and the yodeling that they chose for the music adds, once again, as I said, that twang of Coen comedy. That's just a good example of it. The dogs make the cart lady hit the officer. This is what I mean by all the events just intertwined. The dogs that killed that kid before, that took him out, and then they ran up and they hit that lady, which made the lady hit the officer, which allows him to get away. It's literally just a chain of events. It's fucking Rube Goldbergian. He even gets the dropped Huggies. This man is too fucking good. When his wife Ed picks him back up, they go by. Oh no, make a left here, honey, as she's yelling at him. Which is amazing. You son of a bitch, why would you do... Oh, no, I'm sorry, I just had to get hugged. And make the left here. Just so nonchalantly. Wonderfully. And then they pull the Mad Max, which is actually done a few times in this movie, of just going next to it, riding along, and just, whoop, swiped it up. Goodman silver-tongues his way into coercing Cage into robbing a bank with them. You gotta aspire to bigger things. You're always hitting these stupid little convenience stores. You gotta hit the banks, the big ones. That's how you make money. How am I liking you, John Goodman? You are corrupting a good character. Why do I enjoy you in this? You are a fucking treasure.
They're too small, huh?
And this is right after she kicks them out, too, so they realize this is the opportune point to try to corrupt him.
Yeah.
We don't give them enough credit in their fucking scheming processes. I actually felt bad for Cage during the goodbye note to Ed. Maybe it's because he actually tried, despite being constantly shitty.
Never be the man you want me to be.
It's just a really heartbreaking, and they don't play it for comedy like the others. I think that's why it hits so hard. Because it's kind of like, for example, you have a drama moment, and it's mixed with comedy, and then you have another drama moment, and it's mixed with comedy. So when the real all-drama moment hits, shit gets real, and this is that moment. This Ryder character is just too much fun. He throws a cigar out, steps on it, pulls another one out from his sleeve like a fucking magician, and then match out the other side. Yeah. This character needs a spin-off.
Yeah, I want something on this character.
This is like the young version of the most interesting man in the world, and he grew up to be the Dos Equis guy. The Rider is, once again, as we mentioned, turns out to be a real guy. I really, for sure, thought this was like a symbol for something specifically, not just a real tangible person. So, he's getting fired from his agency and going to prison for animal cruelty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen, unfortunately.
Agency, though.
He was a bounty hunter. You work for someone. You can work for yourself, but that's still, you have standards and practices you need to follow.
I remember him saying he was a bounty hunter.
When he's talking to the dad about getting the baby back.
But did he say specifically bounty hunter?
Yeah, he said, I charge this for bounties, I charge blah, 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 30,000 isn't enough, I need 50,000. That whole speech. He's a bounty hunter. Goodman turns on Cage for a reward that they can't cash in because, you know, they're criminals. And they'd be recognized instantly.
Yep.
Guess they aren't as smart as I give them credit for in the last sentence. And then they try to rob the bank with the baby, too. We'll do the bank, and then we get the baby, and then we're rich! You sure you don't want to at least try and reverse that? At least? At the very least?
Yeah, at least get the 25,000 first.
They have a great comedic and realistic close quarters fight, Goodman and Cage in the house. Since the house is like a small little mobile-style house, it's just, he goes to punch, breaks a wall, goes to punch, breaks a window, goes to hit him with like an axe handle, brushes or scrapes his knuckles against the ceiling, damaging himself. This is realistic. This is what happens in a fight. Shit just goes wrong. We get a bad shot following that great shot of Cage's legs flopping through the spin when he was on his back, and he's just... It was so bad. There are times where you can very clearly tell it wasn't Cage, it was a body dummy.
Yeah.
And it was just, wow, that looks terrible. Not to mention, once again, why are we putting the camera on his back and just showing his ass and legs spinning? That was just a terrible shot. Okay, this is the best scene in the movie. Easily the best scene in the movie. Nicolas Cage, we're getting the hype up for him to go get the baby back with Ed.
Yeah.
And he's just, now look, honey, look, I understand it. I'm a fucking idiot. I get it. And he's just walking from place to place.
Oh, my God.
Puts it in. I swear to God, this won't happen again. A blind man could tell you that. Puts another one, goes off this side, comes back in. I mean, look, it was dumb. Another gun. This is the third gun. And looks on the other side. Blah, 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 blah. Shotgun. Let's go get our son back. They coffee on the car roof the baby.
Yep.
And this is my problem with that scene. In that scene, as they're getting in the car, you see Goodman pull the baby out and put it on top, and then they get in the car. So you literally just set that up and just forgot about it.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. Then again, it happens to coffee, so doubt it would happen to a kid, but whatever. They're supposed to be failures, that's the point. Hearing Ed say all this nasty stuff to Cage in the car, I mean, let's be honest, it's good for her. She needs to do it. She needs to cut him. But it hurts. It actually kind of hurts to hear. And not to mention, it's probably due to we're seeing her at her worst right now. I don't even care about myself anymore. I don't care about this. I don't care. It's just, you were the one I was rooting for. I mean, I love Nic Cage's character. He's charming. He's fun. He's entertaining in a weirdly, stupidly Southern way, but Ed was the piece here. She was the emotion that you attached to, and when she's broken like that, God damn it, you never leave a man behind! The blue ink explosion. The baby. Oh my God. It literally just, we gotta go, we gotta turn around, we gotta get the baby! You never leave a man behind! See, there's so many great scenes that it's, a review for this almost turns into examples of why it's great comedy drama, you know what I mean? It almost just turns into examples, because they do it so fucking well. There's really few negatives to add. Cage comes in, he sees the two covered in this blue ink, basically questions him where the fuck his baby is, rightfully, and as he leaves Goodman and company to take the heat for their bank robbery. Which I think is even funny because that's not even what winds up happening. They just give up.
Yeah, they just go.
They just go home. Let's just go back to prison. Fuck this. The writer takes the baby, nades the car, and legitimately, I'm not making a joke or exaggerating, roars like an animal/beast.
Yeah.
Actually this guy isn't real. This guy is a symbol. What am I missing? The chaos of Ryder spills into the previous bank scene when they had them counting down. And it's the way that it all coincides once again.
And I see people fucking dodge rolling out of the fucking way of his motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah, just random guys, just like, Ninja Warrior. So the Ryder gets beat via the only thing more badass than him. Him. His own grenade.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage manages to pull a grenade. Tattoo. Yeah, which that even more just makes me think, because he had that...
Sorry.
Doesn't he have that tattoo on his arm?
Something like that.
Yeah, I could have sworn I saw that tattoo on his arm or whatever.
And then he, like, takes the pin out. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm not gonna lie, that's a little weird. They return the baby with the book, as well as fingerprints and evidence. I'm not saying the movie, because let's be honest here, and I'll ruin this, the dad just lets it go.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll get to that in a second.
Why'd you do it?
We'll get to that, but you didn't know as characters that was gonna happen. You brought back the baby in the book with your fingerprints and evidence. You pretty much committed, like, the equivalent of jail suicide. The father's hatred of the Ryder character almost makes him believe the lie that they give him, which I thought was a really clever piece of writing. The idea behind it is lessened by the fact that they just don't really do anything with it.
But
the dad kind of semi quickly puts together, oh wait, it was you. This is the worst part of this movie for me. They didn't know how to happily end this movie, so the dad just lets it go.
Yeah.
They're in fucking prison for life. We end on creepy dreams of the other guy's kid basically acting like theirs is what I took it as, but the more I think about it, I don't think that's true. I actually think that was him, because they have the whole dream thing and they show multiple things. So I'm going to switch that up. We end on Nicolas Cage having dreams, and it shows multiple dreams that we can assume are the future.
Yeah,
since he's dreamed about
watching Nathan Jr.
No, it's not necessarily. Oh, from afar. Yeah. You see Nathan Jr. get a Christmas present from afar from a stranger. This is creepy as fuck. But yeah, and it ends on a pretty peaceful note with them actually realizing happiness and getting a visit from kids on Christmas. Whether that be Nathan Jr., whether that be their actual kids, I think it's left up to the audience, because I think they were implying there was multiple kids, which would be either the 5 of them or maybe just they got kids in the future. There's a line. There is a line, right? And there's even a line in the movie that maybe you just play the waiting game and wait for, medicine to catch up to you. Let's get to the trivia and fun shit. Most characters except Nathan Jr. cry in this movie. How ironic is that one? I actually think it's on purpose. The one thing that doesn't cry is the one baby they steal. 15 babies actually played the 5 Arizona babies. One of them being fired, apparently. Randall Tex Cobb, the guy who played the writer, was not a motorcycle rider, nor did he know anything about that shit during this before this movie. You played the shit out of that. See, that's acting. This is Edgar Wright's favorite film.
Really?
Mm-hmm. This is Edgar Wright's favorite film.
I see now where he gets all of his ideas.
He is very, very surreal like this, with like a layer of, yeah, you're right, I can see it completely. Holly Hunter's part was written entirely for her. This was shot entirely in 10 weeks. And Kevin Costner actually auditioned for H.I. McDonough 11 times, apparently. You can like and subscribe, comment, we'd like you to be a little bit more vocal. Yeah, if you can, click the hour below and see what we're doing next week. I believe it's Miller's Crossing. I could be completely wrong on that. You know my brain. And, yeah. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.